Money. Some people act like it's evil, others worship it like it's the one true religion. But let's be honest, money doesn't change who you are. It just turns the volume up. And when it comes to money, we're not all playing the same game. Some people are grinding every day just to stay afloat, while others are making millions in their sleep. Literally. While dreaming about tax deductions. Money isn't just money, it's a game. And like any game, it has levels. The problem? Most people have no idea which level they're even playing on. Some people climb up fast, some fall hard, and a lot of us just get stuck somewhere in the middle, spinning our wheels while life throws curveballs. Sure, there are a million different versions of the levels of wealth out there, but today, we're doing the Billionomics way of explaining. By the end, you'll know where you are, what's waiting for you if you level up, and the exact ways life actually changes as your financial game progresses. At this stage, money controls you. This is where money feels like an emergency every single day. You wake up already behind, bills are late, your car just declined, and your landlord texts you more than your friends do. Rent's due, the fridge is empty, and the only thing multiplying faster than your stress is your debt. Most people here are working multiple jobs, doing gig work, or surviving off credit cards just to make ends meet. Even if you know how to budget, there's just not enough to budget with. This is the one paycheck away from disaster zone. If this sounds familiar, you're not alone. In 2024, the United Nations estimated over 700 million people live on less than $2.15 a day. But if you include those who earn slightly more but still can't afford basic needs, the number jumps to over 1.1 billion. That's 1 in 8 humans. Some grew up in poverty, others ended up here after job loss, medical bills, or just bad luck. And when every dollar counts, things like investing or building wealth sound like distant fantasies. But if you're here, I want you to hear this, you're not broken. This stage isn't permanent. It's just where you start. So how do you escape this? Slowly. Painfully. But it is possible. Start small. Even saving $1 a week changes something fundamental. It flips your mindset from survival to control. Ever heard of Ronald Read? He was a janitor and gas station attendant who invested tiny amounts in blue chip stocks. When he died, he left behind $8 million. Moral of the story, you can't outsmart poverty overnight, but you can outlast it with time, patience, and a little compound interest magic. And before you say that won't change anything, remember, survival isn't forever, but quitting is. Alright, now you're not drowning, but you're still treading water. You can pay rent, there's food in the fridge, and you might even have Netflix, the ad version. But deep down, you know one bad week, one car repair, one medical bill, and you're right back at level 1. You're probably still in debt, student loans, credit cards, maybe a buy now, cry later plan. Sound familiar? You think about investing, but it feels like gambling because let's be real, losing $50 hurts way more when you don't have it to spare. At this level, money is always in your head. You're not constantly broke, but you never feel rich either. You say things like, I'm fine, but you know one missed paycheck could end the illusion real quick. At this very point, people start feeling middle class, but their finances say otherwise. You might have a steady job or a side hustle, maybe even a small emergency fund, but debt is still hanging over your shoulder like a nosy relative. You tell yourself, next month I'll start saving, then next month comes, and guess what? Netflix raised prices again, your car needed a new battery, and suddenly you're broke again. This level is exhausting because it's a constant balancing act between progress and panic. Your biggest weapon isn't more money, it's awareness. Knowing where your money goes, what traps to avoid, and how to set small automatic savings goals can help you push into the next level. Let's be honest, this is where most people in the world are stuck. Not poor enough to get help, not rich enough to relax, just permanently one bill behind peace of mind. Congratulations, you've unlocked financial oxygen, the level where you finally get to breathe. Your bills are paid, your fridge has real food and snacks, and when your car breaks down, you don't need to start a GoFundMe. You might even have a small emergency fund, maybe $1,000, maybe $5,000, enough to buy time when life punches you in the wallet. You're probably saving a bit, maybe investing through your job's retirement account or a small brokerage account. At this level, you can finally breathe. You can enjoy life a little. A weekend trip, a decent dinner, maybe even therapy that your insurance doesn't cover. But here's the catch. You're stable, not safe. If you lost your job tomorrow, your emergency fund might last 3 to 6 months. After that, you're sliding right back down. So the real goal here isn't to earn more, it's to protect what you've built. And if you're here right now, let me ask you something. What's stopping you from moving up to the next level? Is it fear, discipline, or lack of direction? Because what you do next decides whether you stay stable or finally reach security. Now we're talking. You've got savings, you've got insurance, you've got a plan. You're not bulletproof, but you're definitely not living paycheck to paycheck anymore. Level 4 is where you stop worrying about money and start planning it. You can take a financial hit, a layoff, a medical bill, a recession, and still stand up afterward. At this level, your income covers your needs and your wants. You've got decent furniture, a stable home, and you're no longer Googling, how long can I survive off ramen? You might own property, or at least live somewhere long-term without fear of eviction. Your mindset also changes. Instead of, I hope I have enough, it's, how can I grow what I have? You're officially out of survival mode and into strategy mode. And you know what's funny? At this point, most people still don't feel rich, because money comfort is a quiet thing. You don't post it on Instagram, you just live easier, sleep better, and worry less. And if you're wondering, how do I know if I've reached this stage? Simple. If your anxiety about money has gone from daily panic to occasional concern, congratulations, you're here. This is the big one. The FIRE level. The level people dream about. The point where work becomes optional. At this stage, your investments and passive income pay your bills. You can work, but you don't have to. You might still choose to, for purpose, for fun, or because you secretly enjoy yelling at interns. You've built a lifestyle that's 100% self-funded. Maybe you've got dividend income, rental properties, or a small business that runs itself. You're not flying private yet, but you can book first class without checking your balance. And before you assume this means being a millionaire, it doesn't. For some people, independence happens with $600,000 in assets. For others, it's $2 million. It all depends on your lifestyle. If your expenses are low, independence comes faster. If your lifestyle inflates with every raise, well, welcome back to stage 3. At this stage, you start thinking about things like taxes, diversification, and maybe even legacy planning. You're not just earning money, you're keeping it. And here's the question I want you to answer. If you didn't have to work for money anymore, what would you do with your time? That question alone will tell you how ready you are for stage 5. This is the level where you go from making money to managing money. You start thinking about tax strategies, wealth protection, and maybe teaching your kids that credit card points aren't an asset class. If you're here, congrats. You've beaten the game for 99% of people. At level 6, money doesn't control your life. You do. You wake up because you want to, not because you have to. You can travel when you feel like it, take time off without guilt, and say no to things that don't serve you. You might still work, but now it's for passion, not survival. You're building projects, investing in startups, maybe even helping others climb the ladder you just conquered. You no longer ask, can I afford this? You ask, do I even want this? And that, my friends, is a beautiful place to be. At this stage, you don't check price tags, you check calendars. And here's a funny one. People at this level often spend less than before. Because freedom isn't about buying everything, it's about not needing everything. You've stopped chasing status and started chasing meaning. And if you ever meet someone truly free, you'll notice one thing. They're not bragging, they're present, because they finally got their time back. The final stage, the 1% of the 1%. The final boss of finance, abundance. This is the billionaire's playground. You own assets that own assets. Your investments make more money while you're asleep than most people make in a lifetime. You can buy companies, influence politics, or, if you're really ambitious, start a space company just because you're bored. You've got a team, assistants, drivers, chefs, accountants, maybe even a backup chef in case your main one has a bad day. But here's the thing. At this level, it's not about money anymore. It's about legacy. You start thinking about impact, foundations, scholarships, generational wealth. You're not just living in the system, you're shaping it. But let's be real. Most people don't need to reach stage 7 to live a good life, because wealth isn't about how much you own, it's about how little you worry. And maybe true abundance isn't about power, it's about freedom to choose what truly matters. So where are you right now? Most people live their whole lives between levels 2 and 3, and that's okay, because the goal isn't to be a billionaire. It's to reach the level where money stops controlling your life. Even moving from survival to stability can change everything. How you sleep, how you think, how you breathe. The game isn't get rich, the game is get free. And if you made it this far, here's a quote to take with you. If someone tells you you can't, they're showing you their limits, not yours. And remember, Wealth isn't built overnight. It's built in quiet, consistent decisions, the ones nobody claps for. So if you're saving, learning, or just trying to do better, you're already ahead. Every step up means less stress, more freedom, and more control over your own story. And speaking of control, if you've ever wondered why building wealth feels harder right now, there's a reason for that. The economy's shifting in ways that look very familiar. So after this video, check out our last one. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss the next episode of Billionomics.